This is Kugan Cassius for IFL TV. We're at Adam Booth's gym here in Surrey. With me, I've got the British heavyweight champion David Price. How are you, David?
I'm good, thanks, Kugan.
Been a while since we caught up. I haven't dropped you out, David. I know we just spoke about this, but to explain to you why I wasn't at one of your fights, and then the first fight with Thompson, James, who I do I from London with, he was there.
Yeah, well, use with me lucky charm, it seems. So you jinxed me by not being there for the first Thompson fight and the second Thompson fight.
Do you know what? It could be true. Could be true.
No, it's not.
David, it's been a difficult year for you, as we've all known. And like I said, you've made some steps now in your career to sort of move forward from this Thompson saga. First of all, your decision to link up with Adam Booth, who actually trained you for your pro debut, I understand. Is Franny Smith still a part of your training as such?
Franny was. When I come back with Adam, you know, me and Adam spoke and we thought it'd be a good idea to ask if Franny could help out in an assistant role and working with me when I'm at home in Liverpool, which Franny agreed to, but he tried it out and he just didn't think it was working out, which is, you know, it's understandable. So unfortunately Franny stepped down, which is a shame, but we've got Dave Thompson, who's another Liverpool trainer, and you know, he's really good trainer. He's got his own good little stable going on, and you know, he's got a good understanding of the game, really enthusiastic as well about the sport, so you know, I'm happy with Dave now.
After the second Thompson defeat, how long was it before you thought about having Adam Booth, or trying to talk to Adam Booth as being your trainer?
It was a while, really. I mean, after defeat, I had a few weeks where I was busy doing other things, and I was trying to keep my mind off boxing completely. And then I started, you know, going through a few things in my head, and I weren't feeling like going back to the gym. And you know, for me, that's when alarm bells started ringing about my current situation, and I thought, you know, maybe it's time that I make a bit of a change. And you know, I spoke to Adam after I'd been to see Franny, because I didn't want to speak to anyone before I'd put Franny in the picture on what my plans were. So after I'd spoken to Franny about things, I give Adam a call just for some advice initially, because, you know, I didn't expect anyone to be jumping through hoops to train me. You know, although a lot of people were keen, but someone like Adam's busy. You know, he had his own things going on with David, getting ready for the Fury fight, and obviously he was training George at the time. So I didn't expect him to, you know, to welcome me with open arms. You know, I just wanted a bit of advice, because when I did turn pro, the advice that I was given at the beginning by these people around me now was always good advice. And even when I had to move away from Maymaker because of the TV situation, you know, they sent me in the right direction to Frank Maloney, where, you know, I had a really good run with Frank Maloney, business-wise and career-wise, up until the first Thompson fight. So they pushed me in the right direction, so I thought it'd be a good idea to speak to him. And obviously another person who I get on well in boxing, and you know, I value their advice, is Dave Colwell, and he said to me, you know, I think Adam will be your man in the UK if you're going to stay in the UK. And I think deep down I knew that, but what I did do, Adam was busy, so I went and tried out with a few world-class trainers who were really good and really impressive, and but I had to go with my gut instinct, and my gut was to go with Adam, and you know, hopefully it'll prove out to be the right decision.
We obviously know you had Lennox Lewis in your camp as well. Is that something that, given time, a bit longer, could have worked out better for you? Only had about 3 weeks with you, didn't he?
Yeah, we had about, all in all, we had about 5 weeks, and I mean, a lot's been made of the time that we had together, because the thing was, it was a logistical thing of getting the best sparring partners out to Canada from Europe, or getting them to Liverpool, which would be a lot easier, So we decided to come home for the sparring period of the camp. But you know, I think if I could have got involved with Lennox maybe 4 fights ago, that would have been when I really would have benefited from it. But I think the position I was in mentally when I linked up with Lennox Lewis, I was pretty vulnerable because I just lost my first fight after being touted as the next big thing, which was being touted as, and I lost by a second round knockout against someone who according to everyone I ought to have beaten. But you know, so I was a little bit vulnerable mentally going over there, and it might not have been long enough to get the best out of it. But that said, it was a great experience to work with him, you know, and he always was and probably always will be my favourite heavyweight of all time, Lennox Lewis. So it was kind of surreal being around him, but that might have worked in a negative way in the end. I don't know, you know, might have been in awe of the man or whatever. But he taught me, he gave me a lot of good advice, and just didn't work out on the night. But you know, the only person to blame for that is myself, you know.
What was worse for you? What defeat was worse for you, mentally?
Yeah, mentally, the second one, because the first one, I don't even think about the first one, because it was, as far as I'm concerned, it was just a bad luck on my part, getting caught with a silly shot in a horrible little spot, which just took my legs away and obviously perforated my eardrum and everything else. You can't do nothing about that. I was more gutted after the second one because I hinged so much on winning that fight. You know, I was like, losing was an option. Not that it ever is, but this fight was like massive to me. It was like, I can't afford to lose this fight. What am I going to do if I don't? And I probably put too much emphasis on the fight, even though, you know, every fight's important. But this like, the pressure I put on myself for this fight, it just went way over the top, to be honest. And although you know, it was disappointing and it was horrible after it, and you know, in a way, you know, let's get the facts right, by the way, as well. Tony Thompson is a good fighter. You know, he's no mug, he's no one's mug. You watch his fight with Vladimir Klitschko, both of them. All right, he didn't go the distance, but he give it a hell of a more a fight than a lot of other Klitschko's opponents, as even ones who have gone the distance. So, you know, this fella's no mug, and he was down, and he was out. He looked like he was out in the second round in the second fight. You know, it was a bit of a long count, but that said, if he'd have stayed down on that floor and I'd have won that fight, I'd have went away thinking everything was okay and thinking, right, just carry on as we are. But really, I think the time was then, you know, it was time to make a change, to move my career forward, and that's why I believe it's probably a blessing that he did get up and come back to beat me, because long term, you know, I think I'll have learned an awful lot from what's gone on this year, without a doubt.
Since that second fight with Thompson, obviously Frank Maloney, your promoter, is now retired from the sport. Frank's obviously been involved in boxing for many years and been great for the sport, and you know, with the likes of Lennox Lewis, etc. But it leaves you in a position now where you don't have a promoter. Yeah. Are you in the process now of getting that sorted out?
Yeah, I am in that process. I mean, it probably needs to be sorted sooner rather than later. I mean, I don't want to be hanging around too long trying to make my mind up what I'm going to do, but it's a big decision for me. This next step's a big decision. So it's something that I have to take my time and, you know, just make the right choice, get the right advice off the right people. But I think going back to Frank Maloney again, just to jump on what you said, Jerry, you know, he was good for me, Frank. We did have a good run, and you know, still keep in touch with him and everything else. I think the last time I seen him, you know, he wasn't himself, and it might be for the best that he did walk away, because he hasn't been himself for a while, I don't think, Frank. But you know, we still keep in touch. We've got a lot of time for him.
What I have noticed, obviously, since your defeats to Thompson, is that a lot of people have started to call you out. I don't know whether it's, you know, they're looking at the Thompson's fight and thinking, well, maybe I should fight, but a lot of people seem to have called you out. So you got the other day there was saying he was calling you out, but Lucas Brown, who beat Richard Towers, was saying that he would like a fight against you. I mean, is that a fight that interests you, David?
Yeah, it is. I mean, Lucas Brown, he's in the mandatory position to fight for the Commonwealth title, so you know he's earned a shot at the Commonwealth title, and he's a good fighter. You know, his record speaks for itself. He's on the up. People are talking about him. So yeah, of course it would. I mean, obviously, I'll be having a fight before any type of title fight. I'll be having a non-title fight to get back into the groove of things. But yeah, you know, a lot of people would fancy the chances against me. But you know, what people need to understand is that you ain't Tony Thompson. And when I say you ain't Tony Thompson, I'm not saying that you're not as good a fighter as Tony Thompson. But my last 2 fights have been against probably the most awkward heavyweight you could possibly get in the ring with. So if you want to judge me on them last 2 fights, or let's just say the last fight, then, you know, do it at your peril.
And a fight with Derek Chisora obviously is being on the cards there as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a wanted man by the looks of it, aren't I? Because I've got them 2 titles. Whether this Derek Chisora fight would happen or not remains to be seen. Derek's obviously European champion, and I think if it was to happen, it'd be a great fight. You know, I've always said I've got a lot of respect for Derek as a person and as a fighter. So if that fight was to happen, then it'd make for a great fight. But whether it will or not is 2 completely different things.
We obviously know Mr. Tyson Fury has got his date with David Haye, the rescheduled date for the 8th of February. Yeah. But I mean, have you still got? And we're talking like ahead here because I've just listed about 4 different fighters. But is that a fight? Because obviously, before you got beat to Tony Thompson, this was the Haye Fury of then, if you understand what I mean. It was the fight that everyone wanted to see back then. Yeah. So is that a fight that still is in your mind?
If it's a fight that's still in the fans' minds, which I think it will be, then yeah, of course it is. I mean, look, I don't want to start calling Tyson Fury out now because he's got a big fight with David Haye, and I've just lost my last 2 fights. I'd look a right dickhead doing that. But you know, the truth is, once Tyson Fury's lost to David Haye, which I think a lot of people believe is going to happen, you know, it's gonna make it open again for a fight between the 2 of us. And you know, at the end of the day, one man's beating me, and one man will have beaten him. At that point, you know, I might have lost 2 fights, but it was to the same person. So I've only lost to one man, and it's a massive fight. And obviously with all the history and the amateur stuff, all the YouTube shite that went on with him, and you know, but for the time being, you know, obviously leave him to what he's got to get on with. He's got more pressing matters around, hasn't he?
All right, and just finally, David, do you anticipate that you will fight this year?
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah. I mean, what is it now? It's November, isn't it? Early November, yeah, December. Either way, you know, whichever way I decide to go on the promotional route, I should imagine I'll be fighting before Christmas. So, you know, 2 fights from now, 2 good wins, then I'm sure I'll be back, you know, back on everyone's lips again. Do
you know when we can expect an announcement from you on the promotional sense?
I should find out this week, I think. Hopefully this week. So, November, yeah, early November.
Right. Well, listen, David, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and don't ever think we've dropped you out, my friend.
I forgive you, mate, don't worry.
And we beat you the other day 2-0 very convincingly. You just must be sick over that. All right. This is Kugan Cassius here at Adam Booth's gym with David Price for IFL TV. Thank you very much.